Go. Go. Guys. Oh, sorry. I have, like, voice effects for this. But you're not gonna know when. I'm so excited. Um, it just, like, hit me the other day. Thank you, Corn. I don't know what he wants from me. That's a lie. I do know what he wants from me. He wants food, but it's not his feed time yet. So here's what I was thinking. It struck me. I was like, you know what? I could have such a fun time reading over like some of the very long fanfic that kind of like changed my view on multiple things. And I was like, I really want to go like back and read over this again. Also, if you have to go, Hooves, don't. It's okay. Don't apologize. Um. Hi, Dime. You feel offended by not having a pet? You have one if you chat. See, look, you chat and you can change your little avatar guy in the about page.
Extremely reminder to take care of yourselves. Your vessel needs care and fuel, and I'm so proud of you all for doing what you can. Remember, I'm so proud of you all for doing what you can. Fific One Love, you all have an amazing day. You're incredible and important. Fific One Love will be vibing, but will probably end up taking nap.
Okay. That's totally okay. I know, I just found this like instrumental fall playlist and I was like, damn, this shit slaps. Anyway. I have surprises. If I keep on doing this, which I might, I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get through it. Don't you eat that leaf. Okay. I don't know how long. Oh my god. I don't know how long I'll keep on doing. But if I get far enough, I might start like adding sound effects and stuff. I don't know how. I'm gonna do some looking into it. There's ways I could do it totally, but I just think it would be really cool to kind of add like an audiobook almost effect. I'm not good at reading things, but I can try my best. You're a goose now. Holy shit. How have you all been? I knew you were gonna eat that. Don't eat that. Don't you eat that. Come here. Come here. Stop eating that and come here. Come here. How did you even get up here? Okay. Hello? Hold on. No, you know
Hello
what
there.
you know. Hello? Get down. Get down. Get your little bat face down. Okay. But this is like, oh, hello. Okay. One of like my favorite ever. I keep on talking. You haven't joined a Fifi stream in a hottest minute, dude? Yeah, you haven't. How are you? How are you? Okay, I think I have everything set properly. Technically, this is set in space, so I don't know if the fall music is like the right vibes for it, but I was like, it's reading. Okay. I do want to say just a disclaimer. This was Origins SMP fanfic originally. You will see names of content creators. It is not about the content creators, it is about Origins SMP characters. And to take it a step further, because there's some people that are mentioned that I am not particularly fond of at all, even though characters, I'm just treating this like author OZs. I have for a while. I think it's been over a year since it's my first, over a year. No, surely it hasn't been that long. Nuh-uh. There's no way it's been that long. Okay. Does everybody have tea? Can we call them Bob? Sure. 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 Okay. Hold on. I don't like this music. We need something else. Okay. If I make mistakes, you have sugar. Okay. Well, that's fine. All right. The regulator coupler twists smoothly under his wrench, eased by well-oiled parts and a steady hand, increasing the amount of fuel that's funneling into the engines by only a slight amount. It's not a huge repair, but Tubbo can already tell the difference, antenna flicking lightly as the humming whine from the engine changes in pitch to something more steady. He grins and flips the wrench into one of his lower hands, clambers out of the maintenance hatch on the floor, and toes it shut with a socked foot so he won't accidentally fall into it later. Stretching his top arms above his head and the lower ones in front of him, Tubbo pops his back and flexes his wings out, only wincing in mild discomfort as the wound along his left side pulls uncomfortably. Rubbing at it absent-mindedly with his lower arm, Tubbo begins putting his tools away in neat order, singing under his breath to the music drifting through the speakers overhead. The engines are well enough taken care of that they don't rattle in the Asachi, but he can pick up their vibrations with his antenna, bobs his head in time to the pulsating beat. Tubbo's heard other pilots and travelers complain about the incessant trembling in the recycle air of their ships, how it drove them crazy, but it's never bothered him. He misses it, actually, whenever he's planetside. Hates not having the comforting thrum of his ship around him, the whining drone of the engines, and the smooth glide of machinery. Clicking his toolbox shut, Tubbo hefts it under one arm and makes sure it's properly stowed away. Safety latches locking it into place so it won't go hurling around the next time he has to do some evasive flying. He spreads one hand out along the side of the Asachi, smiling fondly, stroking over the metal plating and fingertips tracing across the grooves and rivets. He knows the shape of each one by heart. There's a lot of pilots that just fly for the paycheck, or because they couldn't be bothered to find anything else to do. But that's not why Tubbo's here, not why he bitches and groans every time he has to land. He's a pilot because he loves it, because there's nothing like hurtling through the black expanse of space with 1,000 winking stars around you, or navigating the tricky tight presses of asteroid belts. Yum yum. Yum yum. I watched my first one of your streams in July 2023, I think. Well, yeah, the first one. I thought you were saying, like, when you had, like, last been on a stream. And I was like, no, it hasn't been a year. There's no way. He's still up in the plants. He's gonna eat them. Okay, hold on. Where the fuck was I? I'm trying to keep it, like, underneath my camera so you guys can read too. Okay. Any good pilot worth their tool set knows without a shadow of a doubt that their ship isn't just a piece of machinery you can get you from point A to point B. It's a partnership, a bond that can never be broken, and as long as Tubbo takes care of the Asachi, it'll take care of him, their mutual trust keeping them both moving and out of danger, and that's all he could ever need. With his repair work done, Tubbo scales the ladder built into the wall that leads up to the top deck, and steps into the cockpit. He drops into his chair and starts to run a systems diagnosis, just to make sure they're still on the correct course and nothing else needs attention. A couple screens pop up in front of him, and he waves through each one after he scans it over, only pausing on the autopilot readout, because wow, are they making great time or what? The Asachi is fast, but this is even a little insane for it, and Tubbo furrows his brow and expands the screen. According to the autopilot, they'll be back in HQ in less than an hour, which doesn't make any sense, because Tubbo knows for a fact that before he went down to do repairs, he had a solid 20 hours of flight time left. The realization hits him at the same time as a new pop-up appears on the HUD, taking over most of the viewport and blocking the trails of light whizzing by in hyperspace. Well, fuck me, I guess, Tubbo thinks, hitting accept because there's really no other choice. Just hopes it doesn't look like he hasn't slept in over a day, as the hideous, scrunched up photo is replaced by a live feed. Hold on.
Bitch!
I have to do that every time. Morning, dickhead. Oh wait, fuck. Morning, dick. Fuck. I gotta figure out a voice. I can't do this. Morning, dickhead. Tubbo responds with a smile, crossing his arms as he reclines in his chair, and Tommy grins back like a madman, jerks his head at him. I see you're still alive despite your best efforts.
Be you fucker. They haven't kicked you out for insubordination yet.
This is gonna be a little bit more difficult than I thought it was. Hold on. Tubbo laughs and Tommy scoffs, tossing his head to the side as he declares, "Fuck."
I'm an absolute delight. Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't made me fleet captain yet, Tubbs.
Rolling his eyes, Tubbo says with as much sarcasm as physically possible, "Ah, yes, of course, because the Imperial Sun Fleet is just so known for giving out commissions to every shithead teenager."
Hey, I'm almost 20 and you know it, bitch. Fuck off. And just you watch, I'll be the first one. They'll make statues of me and they'll carve the name Tomothy in it across the galaxy.
Tommy sweeps his hand out to demonstrate the vast swath of prestige he's going to have, wings ruffling behind him in excitement, looking for everything in the world like every starry-eyed recruit fresh off the transport. He's mostly joking, but there was a time when they were both like that, eager to prove their talents and make a name for themselves, but now Tommy sits there in his crisp blue and red uniform, and Tubbo in his gray and orange bomber, thousands of light years apart. "If that happens, I'm drawing dicks on all of them," Tubbo promises with a lazy grin, and laughs at the indignant noise Tommy makes, speckled gray wings flaring out behind him.
Do fucking not, or I'll...
"You can't threaten me, fancy navel boy," Tubbo snorts, ducks his head quickly to the side to try and hide a yawn that snuck up on him, snickers halfway coherently. "Don't forget I'm the criminal here." It's a stupid thing to say, kills the jovial mood instantly as Tommy straightens up, carefree smile melting off his face.
You're not a criminal.
They've had this argument before. Tubbo could easily lay out all the beats to it, but it never changes, and his lower hand picks at some loose threads on his jacket, upper ones rapping a nervous staccato against the armrests as Tubbo shrugs. "Well, I mean, by practically every definition, I am."
No, you work for the Syndicate,
Which is an illegal organization run out of the jurisdiction of the Empire, and
Tubbo.
Tommy begins in a warning tone, and Tubbo's quick to snap his mouth shut, shuffles his arm. Sorry, there we go. Shuffles his arms around himself and stares forlornly at the way his best friend's entire posture droops, not for the first time mourning that they had to end up here. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just... You know that I...
Tommy sighs, scratching a hand through his hair, mussing it out of the regulations dial. Sounds like he murmurs, almost mostly to himself.
I just wish you'd stayed.
"I wish you'd come with me," Tubbo thinks, but he doesn't say. Knows there's really no point, because while Tommy does love him, he loves his home planet more, and it was no contest really. Tubbo only asked him once, mistakenly, amidst tears and furious packing, and the deafening silence that followed his plea was more than enough to convince him to never ask again. "I couldn't stay. You know that," Tubbo says softly, at the way Tommy nods his head in exhausted resignation, he can practically hear the silent answer to his unspoken comment. "I couldn't go with you." It's quiet after that, and Tubbo's antenna twitch in time to the humming songs of the engines running, moving to the tempo of the Asachi working around him. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in, breathe out. You're here. 1, 2, 3. You're fine. You can get out. You're not trapped. Comfort settles in his limbs in the reminder, and he runs reverential fingers over the edges of the consoles, like you would something holy. And in a way, it is. This ship having saved him time and time again. And Tub was forever grateful for what the Asachi gives him, and what it represents. His freedom.
How's your side? Is it healing alright?
Tommy asks in a blatant topic change, and it drags Tubbo from his thoughts. Has one of his hands flitting down out of habit to press lightly along the edges of the blaster wound. Yeah, the blistering has gotten a lot better, Tubbo says, as his fingers run over the bumpy med patch. Doesn't think it'd be a good idea to tell Tommy how he ripped it open a few days ago running down some back alleyways. The frayed nerves under his skin send sharp sparks of pains through his body at the pressure. Torn muscles and ligaments pulling too much and not enough in different spots, leaves his entire left side aching. But it stopped oozing blood last time he checked on it, so Tubbo was counting it as a lot better.
Good, that's...
Tommy looks at him with a critical eye, squinting at his face for a long time, searching for signs of overexertion that are hopefully not as present as Tubbo feels like they are. Clicks his tongue and grumbles.
That old boar better not be working you too hard. I lost my spot. Oh. That old boar better not be working you too hard, or I swear to the creators I will kill his ass.
I'm fine, Tommy. They've kept me on D-rank jobs for the past 2 weeks, and it sucks so many balls. Tubbo complains. Leaves the twitching skin on his left side alone to toss his hands out exasperatedly. Which is such utter bullshit. The last time Dream got shot, he only was stuck... Sorry. The last time Bob got stuck... There's gonna be 2 Bobs in this story, guys. The last time Bob got shot, he was only stuck on med leave for like a week. He's expecting Tommy to commiserate with him. Hello? Hi, Icarus. Monkey, 10 months, let's go. At Astropunk, I know what you are. Bob, yeah, there's 2 Bobs. Well, actually, hold on. I can only use Bob for 1. I gotta think of something else for another. I don't even know if this one's mentioned. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Clueless. Okay. He's expecting Tommy to commiserate with him, because if there's one being the Navy hates more than Techno, it's Dream, who at this point probably has a higher successful capture rate than the entire Imperial fleet combined. Tommy has a bit of a weird fixation on the shapeshifter, alternating between personally impressed and in awe of his prowess and violently opposed to everything he does, swept up in Imperial propaganda because he feels like he has to. Usually the latter wins out, but instead of puffing up and yelling like Tubbo so desperately wants him to do, so they can stop talking about serious things, Tommy just pushes his mouth to the side.
Doesn't he have, like, a whole team, though?
Tubbo's hands clench around the armrests of his chair because he knows that tone, knows this argument too. Queen's past, not again.
Have you thought about... If you just stop being so fucking stubborn and get a partner...
Wow, would you look at that? Entering Syndicate airspace, gotta go, Toms! Tubbo yells to cut off the familiar reprimand, starts fiddling around with the controls, even though he's had a solid 15 minutes away from needing to drop out of lightspeed. Have a good day at class. I'll let you know when I head out again.
Tubbo, do not hang up on me. I swear to actual fucking...
Love you too, okay, bye. Tubbo shouts as he quickly tabs out of the call, hits a couple buttons to send any incoming transmissions from Tommy's handheld to his inbox, and sags backward with a long, drawn-out sigh. Scrubbing 2 hands across his face, Tubbo digs his fingers into tired eyes and wipes grime out of them, very aware of how exhausted he is all of a sudden. Where is it? There's... Synonyms? Call him visioner. Actually, you're so right. Hold on, I'm turning down the music for me because it's distracting me. Synonyms. You're so right. The syndicate usually required that its members operate in teams, but Tubbo's stubborn as all fuck, and a good pilot, and Techno had eventually caved, was more interested in having him join under those conditions than lose his piloting skills to another organization. Besides, as Tubbo drags his hands down his face, looks over to the empty seat next to him in his cockpit. There's only one other person he'd ever have sit next to him, and he's thousands of light years away. It's not that much longer before a different alert is demanding his attention, and Tubbo opens the audio channel with one hand, already starting the process of exiting hyperspace with his others, and a sweet voice filters out of the speakers. Entering syndicate-controlled airspace, please state your identification credentials or purpose. Oh god, I'm gonna have to read this. Hold on, I can do this. Pilot ID M32N79, craft ID IK9750R0. Wait, I fucked up. Fuck. Guys, we're getting shot out of the sky. I think we should call this an actual crime. That's insane. That's fucking insane. I can't. Okay, we got through this fucking shit. Okay. Tubbo recites absent-mindedly, easing back on the throttle as the engines wind down, the blinding flash of hyperspace blinking out around him as HQ comes into view, the great, hulking shape of it, backlit by a red giant. Other ships passing him on their way out or back in, and Tubbo grins, taking over the controls as Nikki says with a clear smile in her voice, "Cleared for landing in Hangar 6. Welcome home, Tubbo." Thanks, you're welcome. Hey, Chris, have I ever told you that you're very cool? The Declassified Galactic Survival Guide. If one is to be traveling the greater beyond, one must have some understanding of how space chooses to govern itself, lest you fall victim to series of complicated rules and laws that, honestly, make little to no sense otherwise. The governing systems of the universe are as varied and sometimes as unknowable as the beings that populate it, which does make it rather difficult to try and find some common ground, but your author has come up with a pretty concise rule of thumb, assuming, that is, that you have thumbs. No, but you have now. Excellent. The long short of it is, space is needlessly confusing and there is no clear answer. Your author personally recommends being in possession of a fast ship and little to no inhibition when it comes to shooting first and asking questions later. But if pressed, would argue that at this present moment, that at about 70,000 light years beyond the event horizon, as the universe is always expanding and growing more complicated by the nanosecond, that the largest governing powers would be divided between the Kaipao of Tantern, what is that, fourth? The Verband Eisen, a common garden snail, and the Sun Empire of Nerox. Common garden snail? I never noticed it before. What the fuck? Is that an Immortal Snail reference? Huh? What? I think that's an Immortal Snail reference. Was the Immortal Snail even around back then? Listening to this fic after reading and listening to the sequel multiple times is very fun. I have also read the sequel. And as much as I want to read that on stream, I feel like I would definitely have to put quite a few trigger warnings there. I think so. It's incredible. Okay. Tubbo throws his duffel at the unclaimed bunk in his room. Doesn't bother taking his boots off. I got cat hair in my mouth. Oh. Ugh. And passes out face first onto his own bed. He's asleep for maybe half an hour before he starts getting too hot, props himself up enough to jerk his jacket off and then flips back over, but something's still not right. Ugh. He tosses and turns for a while, eventually gets fed up enough to yank a pillow and blanket off his bunk, spreads them out on the floor, and lays with his back up against the bulkhead. The metal plating is freezing against the bare skin of Tubbo's back around his wings. Just like the dark expanse of open space, and he hums sleepily, presses a palm to the floor, against the floor, to feel the vibrations of the space station working under him, and is out within seconds. He usually dreams about flying, adrenaline and pure elation pumping through his body as he navigates close quarters. The rush of having to make split-second decisions and calculations. The familiar shape of flight controls under his hands, more instinctual than anything else had ever been. It's no different this time, but as Tubbo stares down at his hands wrapped confidently around the controls of the Isachi, there's suddenly golden bands embroidered around the edges of his sleeves, and when he blinks, they morph into shackles, chaining him to the console, restricting his movements, and he tries to jerk them back, but there's a hand gripping his shoulder hard, and a commanding voice snapping, "Do as you're told," Ensign. Tubbo wakes with a jolt, both sets of arms immediately checking the other for anything around his wrists. But they're bare, and he lets out a breath he didn't know he had been holding, sits up from the floor with a groan. His body protests vehemently about him sleeping on unrelenting plasteel, but Tubbo's well-versed at ignoring minor aches and pains, runs the routine of popping his joints until they stop bitching quite as much. Let me see. His blaster wound is really twinging as he gets to his feet. Are there ads? Okay. But there's no blood soaking through the med patch when Tubbo pulls his shirt up to check, so he leaves it for now, more distracted by the hollow aching in his stomach. What do you mean? What do you mean no one saw that? What do you mean you didn't do it? Nothing. What is... Hello? What is... What are you doing? What are you doing? Swift, what are you doing? Hi! Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome in. I'm gonna wait until ads are done. Kazu, this is Ad Astra. This is Ad Astra. We're having a fanfic reading night. Oh my god, I just shook my desk. Wait, I'm gonna take a break until ads are done. My cat is just staring at me. Just like straight staring at me. You must go since you need to wake up early for work. Bye! Go sleep. We're having a fan fiction that changed my life reading stream. That's what we're having. Read the pinned message. I don't know when ads are over. I hope they're over. Are you guys back from ad? You beat it. Swift, you can join because we talked about it earlier. If you want to help read at all.
Wonderful.
Okay. Oh my god, you just almost ate the bee that was on the screen.
What? I
Yeah.
ate the bees.
We did the bees.
Give me just a moment. I'm gonna go get a blanket.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, I think I could keep.
This hair is a beautiful, thick, incredibly heaviest, but also good. I think I cried like multiple times reading Daterra. Like it was.
I know literally nothing about this fanfiction.
Well, you're gonna find out. Okay.
Other than that, it's the one SMP.
It's not the one SMP actually. It's another.
It's
SMP.
not.
No.
Oh, it's the other.
Yeah, it's the other.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get to like a stopping point. Then, if you want to read anything, you can. Hold on. Where is it?
Well,
His blaster wound is really twinging as he gets to his feet, but there's no blood soaking through the med patch when Tubbo pulls up his shirt to check, so he leaves it for now, more distracted by the hollow aching in his stomach. Tubbo fumbles his jacket from the floor and stumbles out of his room, wincing at the bright lights illuminating the hallway as he tugs it on. Most of HQ is made up of a natural colored plastisteel, something closer to a warm gray and not the eye-aching vibrant white that the Imperial fleet uses. And it's not so sterile, because unlike the fleet, there's really no rules here on what they can and can't do. There are several dorm halls in the station, but this one has been Tubbo's personal favorite to live on. When people are home and not sleeping, they leave their doors swished open, giving brief glimpses into the small spaces they call their own, always welcoming anyone looking to drop in for a minute. Personal preferences and decor styles bleed out into the hallway, posters going up on walls alongside small hollow stills, creating a colorful, glowing collage that Tubbo smiles sleepily at as he walks past. Get, my cat is eating my plant!
They're not supposed to do that.
He's eating it! Stress McGayer, hello. Do Terra ruin me? Yeah. No. It does that. It has a habit to do that. Queens know what local time is. Not that it matters. All of them have busted as hell sleeping schedules, and come and go so much that they can't keep track of soul cycles anyway. So it's not surprising at all when Tubbo passes other syndicate members on the way to the mess hall, some shuffling around in pajamas and others in dusty field gear. The mess hall isn't huge, but it could maybe fit all of them if they were ever here at once. Orange and red banners hang from the rafters and flutter a little in the recycled air pumping through the station. Mismatched sets of tables and chairs or benches scattered around the room at regular intervals. It's decently crowded right now, so it must be some normal-ish eating time, and Tubbo covers up a yawn with one hand as he waves hello with his others to the people that call out to him in greeting. He wanders up to an open replicator and has to punch in his ID at least twice before he gets it right. Swipes through the options until he finds what he wants. Tubbo grabs his glass once the replicator is done rehydrating the nectar. And it's not as good as anything from home, but it'll do. And he's looking for somewhere to sit when he hears, "Yo, little stinger!" Craning his I can't read, oh my god. Craning his neck to see where the voice came from, Tubbo spots it after a brief search. A molten orange arm waving in the air across the hall, and he ambles over to their table with a smile. "Do you want to voice Author OC Sapnap?"
No, not particularly.
It's an Author OC.
Yes, I am aware that is the justification, yes.
Hey, man.
I just don't have a Sapnap voice.
Okay. "Hey man, when'd you get in?" Sapnap asks as soon as he's close enough, the bright light coming out of his eyes, always hard to look directly at. But Tubbo makes an attempt, squints and shrugs his shoulders. "Dunno, every few hours maybe? I passed out, like, right as I got back." "Ha, that's George after, like, every mission. Ain't that right, Georgie?" Sapnap croons, leaning across the table to bat his sooty lashes at his teammate, and George rolls his eyes so hard. Tubbo's afraid he's sprained something, slaps a hand at Sapnap's grinning face. "Why is that funny? So what if I value actually getting proper rest? Aw, you need your beauty sleep, huh, Goggy?" I haven't heard that in forever. Anyway,
I was just gonna say that.
Please, if anyone needs beauty rest, it's you, Sap, you fucking bitch. "How'd your mission go, Tubbo?" Dream cuts in smoothly over his teammates bickering, past the seat next to him with one long, bone-white hand, and Tubbo plops down, sipping at his drink contemplatively. "It was a simple job. Pick up some cargo here, drop it off there, don't get shot, again. Don't shoot anyone super important. And it went off fine, but here's the problem." But that's the problem. There was no problem, and Tubbo had autopilot on for most of the trip and had to distract himself with doing repairs to the Asachi, which he loved doing, don't get him wrong, but it wasn't as much of a thrill as making a run for it from the local authorities. It was okay. Kinda boring. Tubbo eventually settles on, looks up at Dream's vapid, never-changing smile, and the shifter hums, tilting his round head to the side. "Techno still got you on D ranks?" Yes, Tubbo groans, dramatically collapsing forwards onto the table. Sticks his chin out and pouts at nothing in particular. He hasn't had to do D rank since he first joined, and even then it was only for like a week, just so they couldn't make sure that he was going to cut and run with whatever profits he made before paying out his share. Ugh. Dream makes a sympathetic noise next to him, long fingers tapping a beat against the tabletop. I'm sorry, I know that must really suck. Have you tried talking to him? And what am I supposed to say to the fucking blade? You know how stubborn he is, Tubbo snips, rolling his head half to the side to half-heartedly glare at Dream's never-changing face. The cartoonish smile and dot eyes so out of place for most conversations, this one included.
Okay,
Dude.
Hold for just a moment.
Oh.
Is the blade in this?
Yes.
I would like to lay claim to that voice ahead of time.
Okay. Okay. In this chapter, I think, too. So we'll probably get to it today.
Okay.
Dude, just be up front. Up front, like threaten to quit or something, Sapnap chimes in, having finished bitching at George, and Tubbo sits up, clapping two hands together while he throws the others out and sarcastically gushes. Oh, what a great idea. I'm sure he'll be super intimidated at me saying that I'm going to leave the organization. That's the only thing stopping me from getting arrested immediately. Oh, right. Sapnap deflates a little, likely because he forgot that not everyone's here like him. That most people have records and rap sheets, and someone dogging their tail, and that a lot of them are specifically here because Technoblade, the blood god, the scourge of the 17 systems, has gotten enough infamy and clout to drive off practically anything with a functioning brain stock. Hey, Sap's got a point. Not the threatening bit. Dream's voice goes sharp in reprimand when Sapnap perks up, folds his arms together, grumbling under his breath as Dream uses a gentler tone when saying to Tubbo, directness is probably the best way to go with Techno. One of his hands lightly touches at Tubbo's shoulder, there for the briefest second, but it feels like Tubbo's been electrocuted, all of the overwhelming energy that Dream radiates zapping under his skin, and the shifter tips his head to the side, says kindly, "You've been with us long enough. He'll listen to what you have to say." Tubbo snorts around the edge of his glass, isn't so sure of that himself, but doesn't press the issue. Lets the conversation flow to other things. He listens raptly, while the other three regale him with their latest missions and bags, living vicariously through their stories, even though bounty hunting has never been his favorite. Just hearing Sapnap tell him excitedly about some chase through a crowded market, having to dodge blaster fire, and the searing hot reach of thermal blades, has Tubbo on the edge of his seat, antenna perked forwards at the attention, wings flared open a little and quivering behind him. He's missed the thrill of the chase so badly, wants to feel the heady adrenaline of swerving photon blasts, the unmatched elation knowing he's outflown them, that he's good and fast, and that he left them in his star trails. It's more than anything else that convinces him to message Techno, and Tubbo taps out a quick question on the way back to his room, chewing on a thumb absently while his other hands type. "Hey, you got a second to talk?" Office. No time is given, so Tubbo just assumes he's supposed to go now, spins on his heel and heads back out to the communal hub, waits at one of the elevator banks, and punches the button for the top floor once he gets inside. Anyone outside of the syndicate would guess that Techno's office has to be something dark and brooding, with blood-stained weapons lined along walls and heads on spikes. And while there are weapons hung up, they're all clean and taken care of, and reflect the yellow lights bobbing around the room. There's honestly more bookshelves than anything, piled high with holotexts and real bound paper copies, trinkets and other oddities scattered around the room, collected over decades of exploring countless worlds. The focal point of the room is a large desk backed with a wide viewport that looks out at the red giant, filling the room with its warm light. Oh, bye-bye. El gato. Hi, Caspian. Hello, how are you? Hold on. Fuck, where was I? Oh. It's cozy, actually. Any harsh angles softened by vibrant syndicate banners, or patterned rugs in reds and oranges. Unmade bed pushed up to the wall in one corner. Papers and hollow tablets spread out on the covers, and there's not many hollow stills up. But all of them show smiling faces, fearsome teeth buried in exuberant grins. Sitting behind his desk is the blood god himself, and even without the cape and trident, Techno is still an imposing figure. Hey, buddy. You want to say hi? Oh! El gato! El
Cat.
gato!
That is one Pogger's cat.
He's very poggers. Fuck, where Sitting behind his desk is the blood god himself, and even without the cape and trident, Techno is still an imposing figure, though the image of a fearsome criminal organization leader is ruined somewhat by the sleep-ruffled hair and reading glasses perched on the edge of his nose. He's typing away at something on his console, steaming mug sitting by his elbow, which means Phil must have just left. Inclines his head when Tubbo comes in.
Take a seat if you're gonna be a minute. Otherwise, just start talking.
The bluntness isn't any indication to his mood, that's just how Techno is. But it definitely set those faint of heart on edge when speaking with the crime lord. Tubbo's not really afraid of him anymore, after you've seen a man almost crying trying to get the coffee maker to work while wearing pajamas with some small fluffy animals on them. It kind of lessens any tension you might have, but that doesn't mean he's not a little nervous approaching the desk. I love how they did Techno in this one. Anyway. Cat. Mind your tongue. He could throw you out on your ass so fast, Tubbo thinks.
Sorry, I don't mean
Wrapping his hands around the back. I'm trying my best. Swift.
Is great.
I think I have minor dyslexia.
Oh man, why'd you do this then?
I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay.
And the fact, okay, Tubbo thinks, wrapping his hands around the back of one of the chairs, knows that all that's standing between him and some imperial jail cell is his skills and the fact that Techno likes him, or more likely, is generally ambivalent towards him as long as he's useful. I won't be long, just wanted to talk to you about mission assignments. Tubbo begins hesitantly, and Techno doesn't stop typing as he grunts.
There's a new group of D ranks that just came in if you want first pick.
Tubbo grimaces, glad Techno's so occupied I didn't see the face he pulled, clears his throat and tips his head to the side. Yeah, about that. I think I'm more than ready to be put back on the main roster, and
Nah.
his sentence grinds to a halt.
That felt more comfortable for Techno.
And Tubbo blinks his eyes wide, can't help stuttering out a series of protests at the instant refusal. What? But you didn't even let me, and I'm fine, and you let Dream.
Okay, first off, you were shot with a Class A photon laser that shattered 3 of your ribs and tore a nice fist-sized hole right through your abdominal muscles. So no, you are not fine.
Techno says, hands halting on his keyboard as he finally turns his blood-red eyes on Tubbo, gold caps on his tusks flashing in the light of his monitors.
And second, Dream's basically a stupid, unkillable fuck. Got a healing factor that exceeds anything I've ever seen. But the real reason he got back to active duty so quickly is because he has 2 partners. Not just 1, but 2.
Tubbo's upper hands clench around the back of the chair at what he's implying. his lower two dropping to wrap around his abdomen, careful with his left side, and of course Techno tracks the movement, shoots him an unimpressed look over the rim of his glasses.
Look, as soon as that wound heals, I'll put you back on the main rotation. Or you could finally get a partner. Your choice.
Tubbo seriously considers it for a moment, if it would get him off D ranks. But he can't think of anyone else he'd want sitting in his co-pilot seat, because there's only one person he trusts entirely with his life, and he already said no, is on his way to being a Sunfleet captain. Thunking his head down on the chair back in defeat, Tubbo groans. But it's gonna take weeks for this to heal properly.
Them's the breaks.
Techno, please. I'm going insane doing supply runs. Please just. Okay, can you give me one heist or arms deal? Something. Tubbo begs, tipping his head up to stare as plaintively as he can, and Techno sighs, turning back to his monitors with barely a change in facial expression.
I can't, under good consciousness, send you out there with a hole in your side and no one watching your back.
Irritation spikes through Tubbo, because everyone always acts like he can't take care of himself, that having another pair of eyes is going to do any better at keeping him out of harm's way, and he can't help snarking in frustration. You going soft or something, Blood God? He clicks his mouth shut immediately after, wary over what Techno's going to do, but he just snorts, shoots him a look out of the corner of his eye.
I'm so upset. I was literally snorting, but my mic wouldn't pick it up. Hardly. You're just a good pilot, not a complete idiot. You pay out your share with no complaints and aren't miserable to work with. You would be an inconvenience if you died, so I'm trying to prevent that from happening.
As one weakness, friendship. You're so right. Well, I'm going to die if you keep me on D ranks, Tubbo fires back with. He knows it's a weak argument. Watches Techno's lips curl up in a small smile as he says,
You'll be fine.
Tubbo doesn't know what to do now. He said his piece and Techno refused, so he rakes frustrated hands through his hair, trying to decide if it'd be worse to pick up a new D rank supply run or stay at HQ until his side healed completely. Both sounded absolutely terrible, and Tubbo wrinkles his nose. This misspelled. Heart rate's starting to pick up because he feels like he's trapped. There's nowhere for him to go. No way out, nowhere to go, just do as you're told and sign. Look, I'm not trying to be uncooperative here. I think I'm
That's
a pretty
Techno's
reasonable.
line.
Oh fuck. Go ahead.
Look, I'm not trying to be uncooperative here. I think I'm a pretty reasonable guy. But, and I'm not sending you out anything on dangerous, but there's this A rank.
Yes. Tubbo says excited instantly. Tubbo says instantly, shooting forwards to practically hang over the chair back, wings fluttering behind him excitedly, and Techno rolls his eyes.
Don't get too excited, it's just an escort. But it pays nice and... Here, just read it.
He types a few commands into his keyboard, flicks around a hollow to drop into the chair that he's been standing behind, absent-mindedly chewing on one thumb while he flicks through the mission parameters. Pick up here, drop off there, blah blah blah. His heart seizing in his chest when he sees typed out in bolded block letters. Drop off location, Nerox, Sunfleet Academy. Sunfleet, Nerox, Tommy. Queens, he could see Tommy. It's been about 3 rotations since Tubbo's seen him, because Tommy is busy with school and Tubbo can't go anywhere near Nerox anymore. But if he's there on official syndicate business, the High Council will have no jurisdiction over him, despite the active warrants out. He could finally see Tommy after 3 rotations, get to give him a real big hug, hear his laughter without the snap and crackle of long-distance static, and Tubbo hardly pays attention to the rest of the file, already knows he's going to accept it for that reason alone. But then he makes it down to the payout, and his eyes blow wide. Queens of Ages Past?
I see you've reached the bottom.
Is this? There's no way this is real, Tubbo exclaims, looking up at Techno in disbelief, and the man shrugs.
There may be Imperial dogs, but the Ender are always good for the money. Only reason I didn't toss the request out.
Tubbo snaps his head down to the last line, counts and recounts the number before saying incredulously, 10,000 credits?
Yeah. You taking it or not?
Techno asks, one eyebrow cocked like he knows it's a stupid question. And Tubbo laughs quick and sharp because it is. Ah!
Bless you.
Oh. Shakes his head and lets the hollow screen drift back to the other side of the desk. Of fucking course.
Language.
Escorts are generally up there with supply runs. Worse sometimes if you get a real dick. But Tubbo could literally not care less about whose ass he's going to be hauling clear across the galaxy. Because with that kind of money, even after the syndicate cut, and the added bonus of seeing his best friend, Tubbo would gladly take the devil himself. The Declassified Galactic Survival Guide. When modern archivists are attempting to explain Nerox's supremacy in this age, they often cite that it was Neroxian scientists that discovered and perfected lightspeed technology, thus providing an elegant answer that couldn't be further from the truth. Okay. Lightspeed technology was developed across a slew of planets and systems, but under the well-oiled machine that is Neroxian imperialism, such innovations were easily lumped beneath the Sunlight banner, any and all names lost to the flow of time unless they were of proper Neroxian heritage. Since then, the Imperial Sun Fleet has been the leading force for continued research into spaceflight, along with its greatest patron, as the Neroxian Emperor funnels most of the Empire's available funds into this institution. With a vast array of planets to draw resources and taxes from, it comes as no surprise that the Sun Empire is one of the richest in the whole universe. But the largest contributor to this overall wealth is a seemingly unassuming, honestly miserable frozen little hellhole at the far reaches of one of the galactic arms. I don't know how to pronounce this. I never thought about it.
Hold on, let me look at
Anvil?
Anvil?
Anvil.
Anvil
is Annwyl.
It's either Anvil or Onwil.
I'm going to say Anvil. Anvil is generally one of the most depressing places to ever exist, shrouded in darkness for half of its solar year, which is about 8 times the length of literally any other inhabited planet, and should have little to nothing to offer the galaxy, but unfortunately, it's the only place that grows N crystals, like most other sensible planets grow weed.
Weeds.
Okay. Weeds! Alright. I'm stopping there anyway, because it's been an hour.
Oh man, I wanted to be Tommy.
No, I have a voice filter for.
Oh, okay.
Tommy.
You're gonna use a filter.
Do you hear it on stream?
I don't have your. I'm listening to you in the call, not on stream. Do you want me to deafen for a sec so I can hear it on stream?
Yeah, go listen to it on stream because I'm proud of this. I'm really proud of this. I'm so proud of this actually. I only have the demo and I'm using an EQ filter, but the EQ filter's fine. This thing is just the thing that cuts out, like the hiss and hum and like the motor is the thing that, yeah, it's like a radio static thing. So when like Tommy's speaking over the comms, it becomes like a, yeah. I turn it on.
Okay.
That's insane.
Alright. We're gonna stop there today. I hope everybody enjoyed. I am gonna do that again. Let me see who to raid. And we'll go for probably about like an hour at a time. Thank you for the follow!
I'm not trying to name any names here, but Derp is live right now. How did I win? How did I win stuff from the jump catch game? I don't know if I had to play.
You didn't even jump. All right, let's raid.
What? I'm just here.
I bet. We're going to raid Derp. Go say hi to Derp.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew. Go give Derp love.
Hi.
I will see you all tomorrow. We're playing Slay the Princess. I don't know if I'll stream it or not, but somebody will.
I think it was Percy that was going to stream it.
I think Percy might have been streaming. Anyway, I'll see you all
I will be
later.
watching.
Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys for sitting with me. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited for this. Okay, bye.
This is crazy. There's 2 bats and 2 crickets here, but none of them are Matthew.